start actively trying to get pregnant when within 3 months, maybe something can happen. But we all know that that doesn't always happen that way. I have that experience that where we'll have to wait for a couple of years in some cases before you conceive. But then periconception is up to 3 months before the conception itself and up to 3 months after. So periconception is seen as 3 months before, including the first trimester of the pregnancy. That is what is seen as the periconception. Now, these two periods, seasons, the preconception is much longer. Yeah, I appreciate that. But the 3 months before conception starts and the first trimester of any pregnancy are very, very essential. Whatever you consume during this period would significantly impact on the kind of outcome you would have on the pregnancy. That is why nutrition during this period is very important. However, I want to call your attention to some data that are available. Now, NDNS is the National Diet and Nutrition Survey that is usually undertaken in the United Kingdom. It gives an idea of how people eat and a general view of the nutritional status of different people across the different age groups. So some of this data will be, for this particular talk, we'll be concentrating on the 19 to 64 age group, and in some cases, the childbearing age, so 19 to 40, 45, thereabout. So this is what the data is telling us. So right now, this is what it's telling us, that people, adults in this age range, male or female, they are taking about double of the free energy intake, free sugars they're supposed to be consuming, about double. And as we have been hearing, the intake of free sugars has been seen as a risk factor for, when I say risk factor, it could lead to obesity and metabolic disorders, something like diabetes, for example. And the main sources of these free sugars are the soft drinks that we drink, confectionery, cakes, puddings. Some of us will, if we've not eaten a sweet after our food, we don't feel like we've had a good meal. But that being said, there are some other foods that are quite unexpected that would contain this same free sugar. So the condiments that we use, for example, the things that we use to marinate our chicken, our fish, breads, especially the brioche, we all consume. There are breakfast cereals that contain a lot of this free sugar. If we're not careful, when we're moving from fat-free products from full fat products to fat-free products, example, yogurt, they contain a lot of added sugar to make up for the loss of the fat. The dried fruits, canned fruits, yogurt, pizza, peanuts, butter, baked beans, and things like that. Those are foods that, even though they may seem, for example, baked beans and peanut butter and yogurt, even though they may say, or fat-free yogurt, for example, even though they may seem healthy, or cereal, breakfast cereal or bread, they actually sometimes do contain these free sugars. And we know the effect of these free sugars. So let's talk about other things that we know now about how people are eating. NDNS has also told us that people of this age, 19 to 64, they're barely eating The baby is eating 2/3 of the fiber requirement. The requirement is 30 grams. They're not even eating 20 daily, even though the requirement is 30 grams. And more importantly, women of childbearing age between 16 and 49, about 89% of them have low folate concentration in their blood. Now, this is a big, big deal, but we'll come back to that. 34% of this age group meet the 5-a-day recommendation of fruits and veg. The average intake of oily fish is 56 grams as against 140 grams, the average weekly intake. It's not even up to half of the recommendation. 25% of these people, of this age group of women, have low iron intake. About 21% have low threshold of iodine, and about 16% have low vitamin D in their blood. Now, I thought it was important for me to bring this information out for everybody to see, so that you know, realize that on the average, generally, you know, we're not quite meeting what we're supposed to be meeting for optimal health. Now, let's look at conception rate. Conception rate in England and Wales is quite high. It is highest between the people of women between age 30 and 34. And you know what? Let me ask a question. How many conceptions are planned? Let's see, there are 11 people in this, on this call. So could you please type, if you're a mom, could you please type if you ever had an unplanned conception? Now, this is the meaning of unplanned. It is unplanned, well, if the conception was not wanted, or if the conception came at a time much earlier than you planned it. Or when you conceived, it was a bittersweet experience. You were not sure. It was kind of feeling. So could you please put in the chat box? I'll wait for about 1 minute. Please put in the chat box how many pregnancies you've had and how many of them were unplanned, unintended. You were not sure. Do we have moms? This is an interactive session, let's not forget. So if we could please. Okay, thank you. We had one answer, both were planned. Any other one? Do we have other moms? Regardless of your age, it doesn't matter. Even if your children are, even if you're a grandmother, it doesn't matter. As long as you've conceived before, were they planned? Were they unplanned? I've had a few unplanned, and I've had a planned but came much later than when I wanted it to come, but it would still be termed as planned. I've had one that wasn't planned, it happened. How about dads on call? Yeah, exactly. How about dads on call? When your partners got pregnant, was it planned? Was it unplanned? Was it kind of feeling? Interaction, please, interaction. Let's have a bit of interaction here today. Anybody wants to say something? If you want to unmute your mic, that's fine. Anybody?
Okay, let me come in here. So
Okay.
I can share my personal experiences that both were planned, but I know so many people who have, children, especially colleagues I was studying with, who had babies that were unplanned. So I think it's a very common occurrence.
Okay, very good. I totally agree with you. We have lots, if we go back to the slide about the pregnancies, there is a good number of teenage pregnancies, and most of them are usually unplanned. And then for the over 40s, it is suggested that some of them actually would be unplanned, because at that age, you're likely to no longer be thinking of getting pregnant. Now, between these ages, because of career and other things, it is also possible that your pregnancy would be unplanned. Studies have told us that if you are actually planning to get pregnant, you become a lot more cautious about your health and about what you're going to be consuming and things like that. That is what studies have suggested. But we have now been told that in England alone, 45% of conceptions, almost half of conceptions, are unplanned. They are unplanned. That is a big deal, bearing in mind all the information about NDNS that I mentioned earlier. So this only means one thing: an average woman of childbearing age might not have optimal health as of the time she's falling pregnant, because she has not planned for that pregnancy. 45% of pregnancies are at risk of being not nutritionally optimized. That is just what it means. And what is the problem with not having optimal nutrition when you're pregnant? Optimal preconception nutrition is not just about women. It's also very important for men. Now, for both men and women, for couples that are actually planning to get pregnant, studies have suggested that inappropriate weight, where either you're underweight, BMI of less than 18, or overweight, BMI of greater than 24.9, then it could compromise the viability of the eggs and the sperm. Also, things like inadequate intake of vitamins such as folate, vitamin A, C, and E could also compromise the viability of the egg and sperm, which could then affect the fertility process. They say also, with inadequate intake of minerals such as iron, selenium, zinc, and iodine, excessive intake of alcohol, or inappropriate intake of fat. So this is where we need to remember that we should not be not consuming fat at all. That is not what the message is. The message is that we consume it appropriately, in the right quantity, consuming the right type of fat. So studies have suggested that in inappropriate fat intake, either under or over consumption of, more especially, the polyunsaturated fats and the monounsaturated fats. These are the fats that you're likely going to find in plant products. and the essential fatty acids. The essential fatty acids, they are called essential because your body is not able to manufacture them. So you need to consume them. And a very good source of these essential fatty acids will be the oily fish. And remember, we said that the average intake of oily fish is just about 56 grams a week, as against the recommendation of 140 grams. So all these nutritional factors have been seen to compromise fertility. So they are risk factors for infertility for those who are planning conception. But in a case where the conception is unplanned, you're not expecting to get pregnant, and you have not been very intentional about your food intake, then there is a risk of negative outcome, of negative birth outcome. So in such cases, inadequate weight, so when you're too small, when your weight is too low, or your weight is too high, when there is inadequate intake of folate, which is what we have recorded in the NDNS report, that 86% have low RBC. That is very, very scary. Very, very scary. One major function of folate during conception is the development of the brains and the spinal cord. Without adequate serum folate, that process will not be done efficiently. Another problem is the low intake of minerals such as iron, zinc, and iodine. Excessive intake of alcohol and eating disorders. These nutritional factors have been seen as significant risk factors for negative birth outcomes. So what are the examples of these negative birth outcomes? We have preeclampsia, miscarriages, low birth weight. When your baby is born, lower than 2.5 kg, that is low birth weight. And studies have shown over and over that the weight of the mother pre-conception significantly impacts on the weight of this baby. It could also be high birth weight, in which case, when the mom is obese at the preconception, it puts the baby at risk of being overweight, or no, let me call it, of being born big. That's higher than 4.5. Am I correct? Higher than 4 or 4.5, I can't remember now. And that kind of birth weight for a baby is a risk factor for metabolic disorders later in life. That is not quite a birth outcome that you really do want. Another nutritional consequence of malnutrition, that means, let me call it inadequate nutrition during pre-pregnancy, is what you call neurodevelopment disorders. I was looking at autism and ADHD. And studies over and over and over are suggesting that excessive intake of caffeine pre-pregnancy, low folate intake, and in some cases, some studies are also suggesting actually that when the mom has low serum vitamin D at the point of conception, the baby is at risk of having one of these neurodevelopment disorders. and then stillbirth, neonatal death, and the most scary of all of them is the neurotube defect. There are many types of neurotube defect, but the most common one actually is the spina bifida. The problem with this, like I explained earlier, is that the brain is not properly developed, and then the spinal cord. In some cases, for some children, it becomes both. In some cases, it is one. So what happens is this part of the brain or the spinal cord becomes exposed. In country where I'm from, Nigeria, these children do not survive. They die shortly after birth. But in a place like this, in a developed country like this, they may try to correct the defect, but these children do not grow up to have normal life. So which means that it is not a very good birth outcome. It is an avoidable negative birth outcome. But the problem is 45% of the conceptions are not planned. And 86% of women have low serum folate. How do we manage this? Understand why preconception and periconception nutrition, the importance cannot be overemphasized. And some of these negative outcomes, when they are related to nutrition, can actually be avoided. They are avoidable. So, what is the guideline? Or what are the guidelines? I'm sure you've all seen this and you're tired of it already. Do we know what this is? Some participation, please. Can you tell me your understanding of this picture?
It's an eat well plate, and it means that of the fruit and vegetables, that is what you should be consuming the most.
Correct.
And the others, you should be consuming less. So basically, your food intake, whether it's your carbs, protein, fats, should be less, but your fruit and veg should be high.
Okay. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have something else to say? Any other participation? I'd like to hear another voice other than mine. I think I'm tired of my voice now. Thank you very much to the person who participated at first. Anybody else, please? Okay. Now, yes, okay. I'm listening.
I was going to say as well, of the carbohydrates that people are supposed to be eating, they should be slow releasing carbs and they should be high fiber in order to make sure your digestive system is working very well, and drinking plenty of water. Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. However, let me just pass a comment now. Each component of this Eat Well guide has multiple sources of nutrients. Okay, so the fruits and veg do have carbs. The starchy foods, carbs. Depending on the kind of meat, fish, and alternative that you're consuming, some of them also have carbs. The dairy will also have carbs. The only one that will not have carbs at all will be the oils and the spreads. Talking about proteins, some of the foods in this starchy group will have proteins. The meat and alternative will be predominantly proteins. Dairy will have lots of proteins, but the oils and spreads will not have. However, it is about the type of these nutrients. That is what makes the difference here. For fruits and veg, you have lots of fiber, which is what we need, and also has other micronutrients, which you are not likely to find in oils and spreads, for example. So as a result, how do I say it now without being misunderstood? It is important that everything here is represented when you're eating at the end of every day. It is the proportioning that makes it whether it is healthy or unhealthy. The proportioning and how slow releasing your options are. For example, fruits and veg, there is no high fiber, low fiber fruits and veg, fruits and veg, fruits and veg. However, for the starchy products, you want to opt for the whole meal option of the starchy products. Why? Because they will then contain more fiber, more folate, and other B vitamins. When you're looking at dairy products, you want to choose the low-fat option. Why? The whole meal option of dairy products contain saturated fat, and that's not what we need. That's not what we want, except for soya milk. Soya milk does not contain as much saturated fat. In fact, does not contain saturated fat as much. No, it has a bit of saturated fat, but has a lot more of the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated, which the previous slides have shown to be very essential during preconception for both males and females. So yes, the Eat Well guide is always the foundation of good health. If you notice, the crisps and chocolates and all the sweet things, they are not important. They are not within this circle. So which means that they are not essential. We can live a very healthy, normal life without these things. However, if we need to consume them, let's not forget that they contain free sugars and they contain salt. And we know that excess consumption of free sugars would compromise our fertility and then increase the risk of obesity and then could result in a negative birth outcome. So more specifically, I've discussed this briefly. Remember, we talked about the importance of folate, the importance of fiber, the importance of, we've talked about the vitamins being very important and some minerals being very important pre-conception. So each component of the Eat Well guide has its own advantages. So the fruits and veg, we've said they have contain carbohydrates, fibers, folate, iron, and other vitamins, and antioxidants. The starchy foods contain fiber also, if we go for the whole meal, folate, other B vitamins, iron, zinc, calcium, and carbohydrates. The dairy proteins, again, fats. If it is soya option, then you have the PUFA and the MUFA. Carbohydrates, B vitamins, zinc, and calcium. The protein and alternatives, will have meat and alternatives, the same thing, proteins, carbohydrates, fat. For the plant options, you have the PUFA and MUFA. Folate, again, calcium, vitamin D, iron. And let's not forget, it is essential that we try to consume 1 portion of oily fish, which is equivalent to 140 grams of oily fish in a week, mainly because oily fish are our main source of essential fatty acids. And then the spreads. There are other, however, nutritional requirements. An ideal weight is very important. Studies have suggested that an obese woman before pregnancy, if she loses her weight by about 10%, it improves her birth outcome quite significantly. That means it reduces the risk of having any of the negative birth outcomes that we have mentioned. It is the importance of being physically active cannot be overemphasized. Now, in the United Kingdom, the supplements that are very, very essential when you're planning to get pregnant are folate or folic acid and vitamin D supplements. It is recommended that the moment you are old enough to start having children, the moment you're of childbearing age, and your childbearing age and you're sexually active, because of the fact that 45% of conceptions are unplanned, the United Kingdom health recommendation is that you go on 400 micrograms of folate every day, because 45% of pregnancies are unplanned. That is a large number. That is a large number, 45%. The dietary recommendation for folate is 200 microgram for a normal person, a normal woman who isn't pregnant. But the moment, so you can imagine it is 200 microgram. On top of it is now, you will now take 400 microgram of supplement on it so that your birth outcome can be significantly improved. When you become pregnant, it is now expected that your dietary intake is increased to 300 micrograms. But then for the first trimester, the first 12 weeks, it is expected that you continue to take 400 micrograms of folate until the end of 12 weeks. The point is this: if 12 weeks before and 12 weeks after conception, your serum folate is significantly low, the damage will be done by the end of the 12 weeks, and it is irreversible. So the importance of healthy eating the moment you're of childbearing age cannot be overemphasized. One other point is avoid alcohol. And as we have mentioned earlier, studies have suggested again that excessive intake of caffeine. So it is suggested that you should not consume more than 300 milligrams of caffeine, I think. And that's just about 2 cups of coffee in a day. And then that's it. Otherwise, if you consume too much, studies have suggested that it could impact on the neurodevelopment process. of the fetus. And I thought I should bring up the physical activity recommendation in the United Kingdom. Any question for me? This is too quiet. I'm going to stop sharing. Who is happy to share her birth experience?
That's a big one. I'm not sure.
Let me start with myself.
Okay.
So before I had, like I said, it took a while. My son was seriously planned. It took a while for us to conceive. And when we eventually conceived, before we conceived, of course, I was obese. And of course, being a nutritionist, I knew that, oh my God, I'm going to need to try to lose some weight. So I became excessively physically active. I was obsessed with walking. So I was doing, I won't exaggerate, like 15,000 steps every day. And I was conscious of things I was eating, except for one very, very bad habit that I have. Hiba knows.
Please don't share.
So, and then until I was comfortable, I think at a point I was comfortable with my diet and all. And then I got pregnant, and I think by the time the second trimester started, I was told I had become anemic, which was very, very surprising to me, because I thought nutritionally I was on point, but I had become significantly anemic. So this meant that I had to be on iron supplements for a long time. And again, because of the fact that I was obese, the folate recommendation for me was, I think, multiplied by 4. No, it became 5 milligrams. I was to be taking 5 milligrams of, because studies have suggested that obese people are even at more risk of having low folate stores compared to non-obese people. So that automatically meant that my folate supplementation, before then I was taking my normal 400 micrograms, but then it had to be increased to 5 milligrams a day. And then my vitamin D was also increased. Initially, normally it would be 10 micrograms, yeah. So it was, I think it was times 3 or times 4 that I was told to be taking, mainly because of the fact that I was obese by the time I was getting pregnant. So that just shows the importance of nutrients, healthy, nutritional status pre-pregnancy. So you can imagine if my folate, if my RBC for folate was quite low before I got pregnant, it would have just been a lot worse, because I then became anemic, and then they had to increase my folate requirement and things like that. So the importance of healthy eating, healthy pre-conception, is very, very important. Another study they looked at, it was during a particular kind of famine in a country. I don't remember the country now. It was famine period, so people were not eating adequately. So, but then life continued, mothers were getting pregnant. And there was this study that they looked at the children that were born, during this period. And a very, very large percentage of these children had developed one metabolic problem or the other, which is why medics are really, really emphasizing the importance of optimal nutritional status pre-pregnancy. Who else wants to share the experience with us?
Okay, let me go.
Okay.
And I think I only remembered this because you talked about anemia. So in my own second pregnancy, I also thought I was doing everything right. But I think during my second trimester, I was also told I was anemic. So I had to reluctantly get onto those iron pills.
Iron tablet, yeah.
And yeah, I thought that would change it. I went back, it was still low. So I just decided to just go on. I mean, I didn't quit the iron pills, but I decided to consume more iron-rich foods, eating lean meats like crazy, just consuming a lot of iron-rich sources of foods and combining it with the iron supplements. Because yes, I know the importance of making sure that you have optimal nutrition. Yeah, my first pregnancy was okay. I didn't have issues.
Thank you. That. Any other contribution?
Otherwise, I would ask a question.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we wait for others to come in. So, what would you say about this idea of a fertility diet? I've heard people say, "Oh, come and let me give you a fertility diet." Is there anything like that?
I've not seen any evidence, any scientific evidence to support it. And as a matter of fact, other than the folate and vitamin D, you'll be told, and that's what I'm telling you now, that if you're eating healthy, you're supplying your body with everything your body needs, except for folate and vitamin D. Vitamin D, especially because of the color of our skin, we are at a disadvantage, especially in a country like this where sun is a visitor. But if we were in our Nigeria, the tropical areas, we wouldn't have this kind of problem because sun is always there. But in a country like this, where sun isn't, constant and we're always covered up and things like that, it is best we are on the vitamin D supplement. Now, folate. The main reason we are being told to consume, to take the 400 microgram is because of the remarkably low RBC folate that has been noted. 86% of childbearing women. That's a lot. That's a lot. RBC. Red blood cell folate. Let me be very, very sure. RBC folate. Yes, red blood cell folate, correct. Red blood cell folate. Because of the significant percentage of women that have this very low red blood cell folate, I think it's just wise to take this 400 microgram of folate. And if we are up to date with the news, flour has now become compulsory for flour to be fortified with folate, and the main reason is to manage try to reduce the incidence of to reduce the number of children that are being born with this neurotube defect as much as possible. Because like I said, even though in this part of the country, they might be able to correct the visible defect, the damage to the brain and the spinal cord has already been done, and they're very not reversible. And these children, they are not able to, live a normal life if they'll have one disability or the other if they eventually grow up. So it is a very major public health issue right now in the United Kingdom. I think it is not just in the United Kingdom, actually.
Globally.
It's the worldwide problem, really.
Wow.
Any other question?
There was a point you made that I found interesting. When you said the recommendation is that if you are of childbearing age, and please, can you define that? What is childbearing age? Childbearing
age is between 16, according to public health, when it used to be public health in England, 16 to 49.
So from 16 years.
From the age of 16
It is recommended that you take,
as long as you're sexually active, you take 400 micrograms of folate.
right.
The only way you would not get pregnant is if you abstain. And for married people, abstinence is not an option. So because, and the contraceptives that we use, they're not 100%, and they write it there, they make it clear that they're not 100% protective of pregnancies. So, and because of the remarkable number of unplanned pregnancies that we have, 45% is just England alone. There's Wales, there's Scotland, there's, 45% is a lot. And WHO, I was looking at WHO, and WHO was saying that actually almost 60% of the conception in the world generally are unplanned. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is. I find it interesting because, within our communities, as you know, this is not a topic that we often discuss, for teenagers. People will not be having discussions. So they would tell you, what business do you have even being sexually active? But, teenagers are sexually active. But, I think it's something we really need to hammer on within our communities, that there's a need for our teenagers to take these supplements.
Yes,
because the evidence is telling us that 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. And for us to be able to reduce the burden of all these, how did you describe it? Those unhealthy pregnancy outcomes.
Negative pregnancy
outcomes. We have to have optimal nutrition before and during preconception. Now, a lot of these pregnancies are unplanned. So how do we know we are ready to start planning for children, for us to now start doing the right thing when it comes to nutrition?
Well, like I said earlier, if you're planning to get pregnant, studies, it's different. Your attitude will be different. You want to do things the right way. But then in a situation where just 55% of pregnancies are planned, it's a big public health problem. So we need to, and unfortunately, people take preconception nutrition, they take it for granted. That's the sad part of it. But there's no labor, it's not laborious. The only addition there is take your 400 microgram of folate. If you are eating healthy, as we should, anyway, because we are what we eat, we can now see that what we consume actually not just our own health, but then impacts offsprings that we produce. So things like that should make us, more intentional about what we eat, how we eat, and when we eat what we eat.
Interesting. We're still waiting for anyone to share some thoughts on their experience, pre-pregnancy experience. Would you say there are any no-nos for preconception with respect to diet?
No.
Okay.
No. There is no to, there is no abstain, don't take, no. It's all about what is good for you and what is not good for you, and what's good for your health and what's not good. And if we are guided by that, it will guide. And as I mentioned earlier, the crisps and chocolates and all, we can do without them. But the public health people have been wise enough to know that people will consume these things, whether we can. There's no way we can preach don't consume, because that's not sustainable. Let's not forget that food is not the food doesn't just have physiological function. There's a psychological function of food. There's a sociological function of food. There's a cultural function of food. So because of the fact that the function of food is quite multifaceted, that we cannot say don't consume. No, we will only say minimize the consumption of foods that may actually inhibit our health in any way whatsoever. For example, alcohol, where they were advised to avoid alcohol, but if you must consume it, make sure you're taking no more than 2 units. But the only time to now abstain completely from consuming alcohol is when you're pregnant, because of the kind of effect it could have on your baby. And we are told to avoid it completely, because the tolerance rate for each fetus is quite different. Some might be able to accommodate a tiny bit, some might not be able to accommodate any at all. So we're told generally, the moment you realize you have fallen pregnant, do not take alcohol until you have put to bed. So that's the only abstain kind of message that we otherwise avoid. That's what you'll be told, minimize, and then take more of the fruits and veg or the wholemeal foods and things like that.
Is there any specific recommendation for men who are trying to conceive with their wives?
Like I mentioned earlier in the previous slides, the importance of healthy eating, especially for men, is it this one? No, not this one. Oh, sorry. It's this one. These adequate weight, folate, vitamin A, C, E. Vitamins A, C, E are seen as antioxidants. They help to manage the stress, help to manage or control stress that may be introduced to the spermatozoa. So, which is why it is as it is important for the women that are trying to conceive. It's also very important for the males in terms to enhance all this. The folate, A, C, E, ions, selenium, zinc, iodine, control of alcohol, and the PUFA and MUFA, they actually help to optimize the quality of the spermatozoa and the eggs. So if you don't have adequate weight, or you are significantly low in the blood content of these vitamins or these minerals, or you're excessively consuming alcohol, then this could compromise the quality of the spermatozoa or the egg, which could then lead to infertility.
Thank you for highlighting that, because a lot of the times when we are talking about preconception, it's the women who are busy trying to
think of just the women. Exactly.
So yeah, thank you for highlighting that. It's not just about women.
It's not just about, yeah.
Also need to optimize their nutrition.
Yeah.
Healthy eating is not just for women.
Yeah.
It's for both men and women.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Our time is almost up. Let's just check one last time if anybody has a question or a comment before we draw the curtain. Yeah, we can see Orlando is already set, ready to start. Okay, TK, do you have any final words? Jenna says, thanks a lot for sharing your expertise. Oh, yes.
Thank you very much.
About these topics. So now that she has a bit of time, we'll be having her again, hopefully, over the summer. Yeah.
What I will say, I've always said, let us be very intentional about what we eat. Be very intentional, very deliberate about it. There are days like we did, for those who joined the challenge, of course, there were days that we messed up, but it's okay. It's okay for our mental health. Once in a while, let's just not make it a habit. So that is part of being intentional about what we eat. What we are, what we eat. And we've seen that what we consume as human beings would actually impact on the offsprings that we produce. So let's be intentional about it. Every little helps. Little changes, but consistent and sustainable changes. And we'll get there. We will get there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Tokunbo. That was really, really an eye-opener for me, and I'm sure for most people. I like the fact that you emphasize that healthy eating needs to be deliberate. I think you need to add more to it, that if you're thinking of getting pregnant, you have to even be more deliberate.
More deliberate.
Yes, generally we should all, be deliberate about healthy eating. But once you think of offsprings, or think about getting pregnant, then you should even be more deliberate and then try to do the right thing. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope others on the call have too. So thank you everyone for staying on. As always, we have our physical activity session. Nutrition is incomplete. We need to have physical activity for you to have optimum lifestyle. Remember, she emphasized physical activity as well. So please stay on, join Orlando's session, and we will see you next week for another interesting session. I think it is on food allergies. Yes, I'll confirm on the various groups, but I think it is food allergies. So please do join us same time next week, Tuesday. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you, Doctor, for that amazing interactive talk. I hope everyone found it very, very useful and will be taking those new learnings into their everyday life. Okay, so like Dr. Iba said, now it's time for the physical activity portion of today's session. As last week, we have boxer size. All right, we've got a boxer size session coming your way. All you'll need today is a mat and just plenty of water and a nice big space, okay, so you can move around and then fire off your punches. All right, so let's get started with a warm-up. Let's get the blood flowing. Let's get the heart rate up. We're gonna start off with a 30-second shadow skip. But if you have skipping ropes, you can bring them in if you've got the space. If you've got high ceilings, bring your skipping ropes in right now and you can use those instead. If not, we're gonna shadow skip. All right, let me turn these tunes up. All right, people, join me for a shadow skip in 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds, let's go. Seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go straight.
I'm having fucking about that.
Keep that going, keep that going. Straight, keep that going, keep going, keep going. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Next one. Hook and squat. Keep that going, keep that going. Hook and squat. 3, 2, 1. And rest, my people. Quick 15-second water break. All right, people, back to your spaces. Let's continue this warm-up. All right, next, we've got 30-second jog on the spot. All right, 30-second jog on the spot. Let's get ready, people. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go, jog on the spot. let's go. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next one. Jab, hook. Okay, jab, hook. Let's go. 15 seconds. Remember your footwork. Now, let's go cross and uppercut. Let's go. Three, 2, 1. Back to your shadow skip. Last 30 seconds. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and that's time, my people. Give yourself a 30-second water break, and then we're going to get into round number 1. Should be feeling nice and warm now. Should have broke a slight sweat. All right, last few seconds. Turn this down. All right, people, listen here. All right, so first round, we've got a combo round. All right, so first 60 seconds will stay the same. Nice and easy. We're gonna go here. In our guard, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got a left hook to the body, a left hook to the face. All right, watch again. In your guard, if you're right-handed, you're standing like me. Remember, I'm a mirror image. If your left hand, your strong hand, you're gonna stand like this. All right, so my right hand, my strong hand, so here. 1, 2, 3, 4, to the ribs, to the face. All right, that's your first 60 seconds. Make sure you don't do more than 2 or 3 in the same spot. Use the whole floor, pretend it's your ring. Okay, your living room is your ring today. So 1 or 2 in the same spot here. And then bang, turn it round. Bang, 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 bang. All right, that's your first 60 seconds, people. Let's get back in the ring. Game time, come on. All right, show me that first combo in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, people. Keep working it. 30 seconds gone, keep going.
You're not a child, you're a man. So
last 15 seconds. Last 10. Time. Okay, let's add to it now, people. Let's add to it. Okay, so after that hook to the face, we've got cross to the body, cross to the face, nice and quick. So watch it all together. 2, 3, 4, 5, bang, body, face, nice and quick. All right, second minute, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Put that together now, let's go. Hey. Keep that going. Halfway, keep that going. Work that combo. Once you feel comfortable with it, speed it up. It's 15 seconds. Last 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's make it even more complicated. All right, so at the end of that, we're gonna add 10 straights for speed. So watch me nice and slow, the whole thing. 2, 3, 4. There, body, face, 10. Nice and quick. 10. All right, one more time. Jab, cross, hook to the body, hook to the ribs, body shot, face shot, 10 straight, nice and quick. Last 60 seconds before a break, people. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Keep working it, people. Put the whole thing together. That's halfway. 30 seconds gone. Last 15 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and that's time, people. Back to your corners. Quick water break, 30 seconds. So bring your mats in if they're handy as well. Bring your mats in now. All right, people, listen in now. Let's go. All right, so next we've got a conditioning round. All right, conditioning round. Working on that cardiovascular system. All right, we're changing levels. So combo will stay the same for the first 90 seconds. So what I want, 30 straights. Okay, 30 straight standing. Then we're going to go to our knees. So we're going to be here. So we're here. 30 here. And then we're up, back, back. 30 there. Up and down, 30, 30. That's your first 90 seconds, people. All right. So 30 straight standing. Hit the mat, 2 knees down, bum up, chest up, 30 straight kneeling. All right. Keep that core nice and engaged throughout. All right. Let's go. First 90 seconds, people. All right, people. So make sure you start standing. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Go. Let's go. That's it. Keep punching it out now. Find your pace. 30. 20. 30. Back to your feet. 20. 30. Down. 'Let's go. Keep going, people. 30 seconds left here. Come on. Come on. Keep changing levels. Up for 30, down for 30. 15 seconds, people. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Okay, to your feet. If you're on the floor, to your feet. All right, so last 90 seconds now. So first we've got our 30 punches. Okay, then we've got duck and weave for 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we've got slip for 6. 4, 5, 6. And then we're down on the mat just for 30 punches. All right, so again, 30 here, 6, and then 6. And then down on the mat for 30 punches only. Then back to your feet. All right, last 9 seconds. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, watch me if you're stuck. 10, 20, 30.
Remember, man? No? Might as well proceed.
Then to the floor. Let's go. Come on.
Cadbury dark.
30. Back to your feet. Let's go, people. 40 seconds to go. Keep that going, people. Last 20 seconds. Come on. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time, my people. Quick water break. You can leave your mats where they are because we're going to need them for the next round. Well done, people. Ten seconds, people, and we're back in the ring. Okay, my people, listening. All right, so this next round, we're working the abs and we're working combos. All right, so combo will stay the same. We're going to break it down into 6 30-second segments. All right, 6 30-second segments. So again, combo will stay the same, but the move will change. All right, so first time, the first minute, should I say, combo's the same here. Jab, jab, cross, uppercut, uppercuts. Keep working, going through that. Make it nice and snappy and sharp. Jab, jab, cross, uppercut, uppercut. Okay, once you hear my call at 30, we're going to go down for a plank. All right, forearm plank. See me there? So we're here. See me there? Yep. So we're here 30 seconds, nice and solid. All right. That's your first minute, people. All right, remember the combo will stay the same. Double jab, cross, dip down for that uppercut, dip down for that uppercut. All right, let's get busy, people, and turn these tunes up. Okay, let's get those washboard abs for the summer. Game time, get ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keep working it now. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, down for your plank. Hold. 10 seconds. Hold, my people, hold. 3, 2, 1. Back to your feet, change levels. Straight back into your combo. Let's go. Keep working it. Come on, 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Okay, stay on your feet. We've got knee reaches here. Keep that core nice and tight. Let's go. 30 seconds. Slide down as far as you can. Once you feel that pull, contract and come back up. Squeeze. Squeeze. Keep going there. 3, 2, 1. Last minute. Back to your combo. Keep working, people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're on the mat. Last one. Extended arm plank. Okay, arms nice and straight. Let's go. Seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Quick water break, and then we're going to go into our final round. You can put your mats to the side now as well if you need to. Ten seconds, people. Okay, listen now. Change this. Okay, last round. So last round, we've got a cardio round to finish. Sorry, people. I know it's hot, but let's sweat it all out, okay? Cardio round to finish. All right, so first minute, all you need to know, we're gonna go here. Straight, okay? 15 seconds there, and we've got 15 seconds there. From there, we're going straight into shadow skips, 30 seconds. Go as hard as you can. Remember, we started with shadow skips, but that's when we was warming up, all right? That's just to get the blood flowing. Now it's time to push yourself if you can, all right? So go as hard as you can, all right? Go at your pace. All right, so straight, 15 seconds, above the head, making that heart work harder to push the blood up. 15 seconds, and then we're skipping for 30. Nice hard skip. All right, again, you can go shadow skip, or if you've got a set of skipping ropes, you can use those. All right, that's your first minute, people. Let's go. Let's leave it on the floor for this last round now. Come on. Get ready now. 3, 2, in your stance. Go. Let's go. Come on, people. Let's work it now. Above the head. Let's go. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Skip. Let's go hard. Come on. Hard now. So hard now. Really swing those arms now. Come on now. Last round. Come on. We can do it, people. Let's go. Keep skipping. Keep skipping. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next one. We've got power hooks. 15 seconds. And then we've got speed uppercuts. 15 seconds. From there, we've got squat jumps. All right. So here, 15. There, 15. There for 30. Let's go. Second minute. 3, 2, 1. Power hooks. Let's go. Full body. Come on. Uppercuts. Go. Really roll them shoulders. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Jump squats. If you can't go jump squats, normal squats is fine. Let's go work it. Come on. Keep working that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, last minute, people. Last minute. Again, in your guard. Jab, jab, cross. Hard and snappy. Okay? Jab, jab, cross. 30 seconds. Nice and hard. From there, last 30 seconds, we've got star jumps above the head. All right, star jumps above the head. Let's go. Last minute now. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hard now. Come on. Last bit effort, guys. Come on. Three, 2, 1. Finish with star jump. Let's go. Let's go nice and quick. Keep that going. Keep that going. Up and down. Go back. All right, people. Let's cool down now, all right? Let's bring that heart rate right back. So let's start off with alternate steps, okay? We're just gonna bring the knees nice and high. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go side steps. Okay, let's hit the neck now, side to side. Ear to shoulder. Ooh, that's a big click. Okay, hit the waist, nice and big. Change direction. Front to back. Okay, nice big arm circles. And backwards. One forward, one backwards. We'll start like this. Change direction. Okay, legs apart. Keeping those knees nice and straight. Try and get your palms to the floor. Now down to your left leg. Down to your right. Back to the middle. Legs together. Shake it all off. And boom, that's time, my people. Well done. Well done. Back over to you. Is Elizabeth in the house? Or Daniel?
It's me today, Orlando. Thank you so much for that.
Hey.
Hi everyone, I'm Shekinah. Thank you
Hey,
so much,
Shekinah.
Orlando, for that session, for that boxercise session. How did everyone find it? If you want to let us know in the chat box how you found today's session, it would be great to hear from you guys. So yeah, thank you again, once again, Orlando, and to Dr. Hiba and our guest doctor today. So we will be back again next week for another Healthy Heart session. And Orlando, are we continuing with boxercise as well?
Yes, so next week again will be boxercise, so some new combos, some new exercises, and we'll get a great sweat on. Hopefully it's in this heat again, hopefully it's hot again, we'll see.
yeah, the weather's like a bit iffy, but yeah, shout out to everyone who did take part today. It's a great session. So yeah, we'll be back again next week, and if you want to join us for another seminar talk like this one today, we have our health hour that will be Saturday the 16th, and we will be looking at respiratory diseases. So if you want to join us, that's 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. on Saturday. So for now, bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
Everybody, well done.
Bye.
Bye.